hold your ass.
Rolling, rolling, rolling.
Stevie. Hit it, Stevie.
Hit it.
Rollin', rollin',
Sing me the song, Stevie.
Stevie, hit it.
Come get in the...
At this time of season.
All right, cut the music. I'm on Real Estate 101. I'm back. You don't get me on here very often, but when you do, it's going to be some good stuff. So if you do me a huge solid, like, comment, and share the stream. I can't depend on sorry-ass Facebook to get my stuff out there, so I got to beg people. I can tell, man, they throttle you. They don't notify. Turn that shit off. I can't even talk. Can't hear. Distracted. I'm not going to complain anymore about Facebook. It's my fault. I should be so good. I shouldn't depend on those little weasels over there at the Facebook. So, happy Wednesday, 1 o'clock. We always do Real Estate 101. Before we start the show, we always give a shout out. If you're watching, hello, Remy. If you're watching, let me know. We always start the show with a shout out. I'm going to shout out the man that said this. Sometimes life knocks the shout out of you. Do you know who said that?
I don't.
Do you?
I would have to say your buddy Brad Lee.
Do you know?
If I had to guess, I would say Tim Story.
Who was it?
Steve Irwin.
Steve Irvin.
Crocodile Hunter.
Did he say that?
I think so.
He did not. You a damn lie. Tim Story said it. Sometimes life knocks the shout out of you. If you don't know Tim Harvey, or shit, Tim Story, you know, I think he's buddies with Steve Harvey. He's a celebrity A-list life coach. And we hung out with him last night, kind of like whenever you got to hang out with Dr. Elko. We did that last night. The four of us, and Noah and Josh. I don't know who else was there. Hey, cousin Noah, thank you for getting on here. But it was really awesome to see Tim's story in person out at Coach Burt's Lodge last night. So getting started into Real Estate 101. Before I get started, please share the stream, okay? And please let me know you're on here. And if you share the stream, I'm going to give away a gift card. Do we have any Alley on Main gift cards?
We can get them.
We'll get them. I'm going to buy somebody's lunch. Share the damn stream. I'll hook you up a lunch. Could be one of you lucky guys. Okay, so how did we word today's show topic, Van? Do you understand how to make sense of your home value? Do you understand price per square foot? John Jones was in the meeting this morning. He was talking about this. A lot of times, most people make sense of their home based on a price per square foot evaluation. And if they're in a neighborhood, take Evergreen Farms right over here down the street from us. That is a neighborhood that some homes could be 1,100 square feet. Some homes could be 2,500 square feet in there. Okay, do you understand what I'm saying? Mistakes people make is they value their 1,100 square foot homes, or the people with the bigger homes value their home at the same per square foot price or square footage as a smaller home. So I'm going to help you make sense of this. Neighborhoods do not trade, or they don't sell within a price per square foot. They sell based off a price point. Evergreen Farm sells whenever they do. What are you doing over there, Hayden? Making me nervous. Well, it's very annoying when I look over there and you're not looking at me. Just thought you should know that. So, if you're in Evergreen, whenever John Floyd decided to develop this neighborhood, it's price point sensitive. So, if we were to go back to 1996, Evergreen Farm started out at about a $80,000 neighborhood. It would go from 80 to maybe 115,000. The small homes were 80,000. The bigger ones were 115,000. Over time, those same homes today, they might be at $300,000. The smaller one might be $300,000. How much do you think the big one? Let's do the math. Let's say a 1,250 square foot home sells over there for $225 a foot. They might sell for more than that. So 1,250 times 250. That's $312,000. That's about what you got to pay to get a 1,250 square foot home over there. Am I correct? Okay, so remember that number. I'm going to type it in, $312,000. How do I write a comment? 312K. Okay, so let's apply logic. 1,250 square foot, $250 a foot. It's $312,000. How big could the homes be in Evergreen Farms, Jake? Caught you. What are you doing over there?
Up to 2,000 square feet.
Didn't say that. Quit lying. How big?
I don't know. I don't know what you're
How big?
2,500.
I said 25. Is anybody here with me? What did I say? 2,500. Okay, now let's say this. Over there, the big homes would be 2,500 square feet times 250,000. Okay, now the person that's $250 a square foot. Okay, so now what they're saying, I've got a house in Evergreen. I saw this guy's house. It sold for $250 a foot. Okay, that's what my house is going to sell for. I got a 2,500 square foot home. If I multiply that times 250, I'm going to come up with a number, and that's what my home's going to be worth. Sorry, unmedicated ADD. That's I understand. Me too. Okay, so here's the range in this neighborhood. Let's see if this makes sense. So the 1,250 at $250 a foot is $312,000. The 2,500 square foot home at $250 a foot is $625,000. Why does that not make sense? Would you want to go into that neighborhood, or would you want to go into a neighborhood that was more like your other $600,000 houses? Neighborhoods trade within a price range. The range in Evergreen Farms is probably about $300 to $450, maybe a few 500s. So what happens is the smaller homes get a lift from these higher prices. It brings them up. Okay? It lifts them off the floor and brings them up. Where the big homes up there, they cannot get above a certain price threshold. Because if Cam is looking for a $600,000 house, he's going to go to the neighborhood that gives him the most value, even if that meant he had to get a smaller house for the same price in a better neighborhood. So let me ask you, if you had $1 million, would you want to go buy the biggest house in a starter home neighborhood? If you had $1 million,
No shot.
why not?
Because it brings your home value down.
Okay, see, people can understand that logic, but when it comes time for them to sell their home, they make sense of what the smaller homes are selling per square foot, and then they add that to their square footage, and then they think that's what their home is worth. So understanding price per square footage is just a very small part of coming up with your value. So a good rule of thumb, I'd like a water, Jake. I don't know why I've had to wait so long. But so a good rule of thumb would be this. This is what appraisers do. They're going to look at the average size of the houses in the neighborhood. So if it's thank you very much. So let's say in Evergreen Farms, the way they would, this is really the way the market computes it. Let's say there's a 1,250 plus a 2,500, and let's divide that by 0.5. The average home in that neighborhood is about 1,800 square foot is what they're going to say. Now, the way they're going to make sense of this is they're going to probably give you about $40 per foot that's above that. Does that make sense? You don't understand, do you? Well, you don't have to just yet. Do you understand this?
Yeah.
If you don't, Cam, don't lie.
No,
'Cause you don't
but
look
is
stupid.
that like just typical, like they give you $40?
That is very basic general information. So if you've got a big home in a neighborhood and you're much bigger than the average home in there, they're not going to give you $250 per foot. That's not the way they do it. Value is on bedrooms, bathrooms, kitchens, things like that. Just because you've got more square footage does not mean you're not going to get the add-on at the price per square foot that the other house is. So let's just say if the neighborhood is selling at $450,000 divided by 1875, that's going to be a baseline. So an 1,800 square foot home, 1850 times times 200 and okay, let's just say if an 1,800 square foot home out there was selling for about $400,000, and you've got a 2,500 square foot home. Let's just make it simple. If it's 1,900, you've got a 2,500 square foot house out there. The baseline is 400,000, and there's 600 more square feet. What would your 2,500 square foot house really be worth?
If price per square foot was all equal, is that what you're asking?
Well, we're setting the baseline. The baseline is about 1,900 square feet. That's the average, and it's at about 400. It's about $400,000. Your house is 600 square foot larger.
So 40, 600 times 40. is-
525.
Was 600 times.
How did you come up with your number?
I just did 250 minus 40, 210 square foot, and then multiplied that by.
Now tell me that again. I'm not following. I'm sorry.
So I just really didn't understand your 40 coming off the 40. So what I did instead of 250 square foot, I just
See,
minus
you
40.
gotta quit that. Stevie's the only one that's doing it right, and he don't even know he's doing it right.
So it's $24,000
That's right.
over the median price at a 1,900 square foot house.
That's right. Stevie's the one that you're overcomplicating it. You're bringing in things that don't matter. If the baseline in the neighborhood's about a 1,900 square foot house and it's about $400,000, now you start to get penalized. Do you know what penalized means?
It's not worth it.
Deductions.
You get deductions. So when you're growing up, you probably heard you don't want to be the biggest house in the neighborhood. You'd rather be on the small end. So Stevie got this right. 40. If it's a real nice house, maybe it's 45, maybe it's 50, but it's not going to go over that. So if you've got a huge house in the neighborhood, a lot of people aren't going to understand this. But if you can help them make sense of this, neighborhoods, it's not price per square foot driven unless you're comparing the exact same home. Exact same square footage, the exact number of bedrooms, everything is exact. So if you start comparing a 1,300 square foot home to a 2,500 square foot home, the valuation is going to be way off. It's going to be like if you're in an airplane and you go off and if you go up into space and you're just this far off, you're going to end up so far away. So if you're to do that same calculation, you're going to lead your client into just bad expectations. Because neighborhoods, so what you should do is look, what is the cheapest home that is sold in there? What is the highest? Now let's look at ranges. Let's figure out what the median, the middle number is. So if you've got somebody, if you got anybody you're working with right now,
Yes.
what are they looking for?
I've got a family that is looking for a townhouse, a new townhouse, for under $400,000.
Don't want to use that one. Do you have anybody in the 500 or 600 range that you
Yes.
can? Okay, tell me what they're looking for.
New construction.
New construction.
They're actually looking for under 700,000.
Okay, under 700,000. So what if there's a house? If 700,000 is going to get you a nice neighborhood, you should see. So what they're going to do is they're not going to look for the best value of the house. They're going to look for the best location. They're going to look for the best neighborhood. Are you following what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if you're in Evergreen Farms, let's say if you've got a 2,500 square foot home, and the small ones are selling at $250, that's got you at $725 or $625,000. What if? Would you rather be in Walnut Grove or would you rather be in Evergreen Farms?
Walnut Grove.
Why?
Because all the houses out there are $600,000-$700,000.
That's exactly right. See, whenever you're talking to sellers, you got to help them understand this, because what they'll do is that just makes sense. Most people communicate, most people are educated understanding price per square foot. It's only relative if you can bracket it. And here's what I mean by that. If you're going to go by price per square foot, first off, if you've got a 1,200 square foot home, you don't need to go above 1,400. You don't need to go above 200 square feet, because appraisers won't allow that. It needs to be 200 square feet or less. So don't compare your 1,250 to a 1,800. If you're an 1,800 square foot home, you don't want to go down below how many?
200.
That's exactly right. 200 is kind of the magic number. Now, if you're bigger, sometimes you have to go up a little bit more because in some neighborhoods there might be a 2,500 square foot smaller home, but there might be 4,000 square foot bigger home. So let's just say if we're in a Harvest Woods, somewhere like that, and there's a 3,000 square foot home out there that's trading at $225 a foot, that's $675. I think we're probably more expensive than that. 3,500 times 625, or 3,500 times 250. That's about 875. That's probably about right. So if, let's just say if there was a 4,200 square foot home out there times 250, that gives them over $1 million. There's just better options out there you could go and find. So you can get priced, you can easily price yourself out of a neighborhood if you keep using this formula. Just remember this, your neighborhood trades within a range. There's a low number and there's a high number. If you're looking in there in Evergreen Farms, there's never been a sale above $500,000 ever in that neighborhood, and you've done your math per square foot, and you think it's worth $625,000, how can you help them make sense that your house ain't worth that? Because you're going to be dealing with a lot of this. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Get them off price per square foot. Only show them houses. If it's 2,500 square foot, what should the bracket be?
Minimum 200 square foot.
Nope. 2,300. You were close. You just
Okay.
because that's going to give you a much more accurate reading. But they'll try to pull in. If people, when it comes to people and their money, they're always going to try to figure out a way to show the most value for their house. But it doesn't matter what they think in their head. What matters is how the market's not going to do that. Am I clear on understanding price per square foot? Van, do you have any questions?
No, I do not.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, would you say that almost everybody too feels like their house is the best?
Yes, everybody feels like that. Yes.
My house could sell for more than theirs.
Because
I
yes. And you know what? Here's what's funny is they could add about $1,200 worth of value, but they think it's worth $25,000 more. Well, how much did that cost you? Well, I mean, and like sometimes, let's just say they bought the lot whenever the lots were sold back. Let's say if you sold the lot and it was worth $70,000, or the bigger lots you could sell for $75,000. But for some reason, whenever it's their turn to sell it, they think that lot is now worth $30,000 more for the extra 10 feet back there. That's just not the way the market rewards. It's not the way the market finds value. It's not the way it. Hey, what's up, Blake? Thank you for getting on here. Talking about price per square foot. Most everybody I know gets this wrong. They make sense of something, then there's no way the market will give them the value. Very seldom will you ever find somebody that thinks their house is worth less than what it is. Van Gratten, shut us down, friend. Shut us down.